Live from clickorlando.com, this is News 6 at 5:30. This is a News 6 Plus takeover. Here now is Lisa Bell and Candace Campos with Florida Foodie.
Hello and welcome back to Florida Foodie. I'm your host, Lisa Bell. Today's guest is a New York native who is now living in Lake County, and she is running a family-run farm, raising chickens and selling eggs from pasture-raised chickens. We are so happy to be joined today by Mussette Gonzalez from Le Koopé. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
You brought some of your beautiful eggs.
I did.
Many people have never seen eggs like this before. We're used to the traditional white or brown eggs, but yours are very colorful.
Yes. So my eggs, I call them boutique eggs.
Okay, I like that.
People love to eat with their eyes, so I want them when they open the carton to be surprised at what they see when they open the carton.
They are so gorgeous. So you're from New York originally, but then you came to Florida and you've been running this egg farm for many years now. How did you get started doing something like that?
We started with 4 chickens. My mother used to work for Departments of Corrections here, and they had purchased some chicks for Easter for the families. Then the chickens could not stay on DOC's property, so we brought them over.
Okay.
So we started with 4 buff Orpingtons, which are just golden chickens. They do lay brown eggs, and then it kind of blew up from there.
Did you know anything about chickens prior to that?
No, I'm self-taught. I read a book from Lisa Steele. Her grandmother showed her how to raise chickens naturally, so that's kind of my Bible.
So every type of chicken will lay a different color egg. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's almost like a breed. So like if I explain it like dogs are different breeds. Some dogs, their breeds are to protect. Some dogs are to be lap dogs. So chickens, same, their breed, but the breed comes with a different color egg.
That is amazing. So as a result, one chicken that lays, say, this egg will never lay a green egg.
Correct.
Okay. Do they taste the same?
They taste exactly the same.
So you started out with a small number of chickens from the state prison.
Yes.
And then how did it grow from there?
It just grew. I decided that we should start a company with what we had, and what we had was land. So why not just do chickens? Everybody eats eggs.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be something that would be sustainable.
Yeah. So the 4 original chickens that you had, who gave them? You said they were for the families.
Yeah, I guess while they were doing visits.
Okay.
And it was during Easter time.
Okay.
Because they did a lot of different kind of get-togethers. Because this was, I believe, a program that the prisoners were already working. So it was a work release program. So they were about to be released back to their families. So they wanted to build that bond with the families again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they introduced the chickens.
Yeah.
And then the chickens had nowhere to go.
Yeah, the chickens couldn't stay.
So then, did you offer to give the prison any eggs from the chickens, or was that
They
all for
never
you?
asked.
They never asked.
No.
Okay.
Plus 4 cannot feed a prison.
No.
You're going to get only 4 eggs per day with 4 chickens.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you seem to be producing a lot of eggs. So how many chickens do you have now?
We have around 500 at the moment.
Wow.
We still have 200 that are not producing yet. They should be producing in the next month and a half.
How do you manage 700 chickens on a day? Like, what is that like? What is your life like every day?
It's not that bad.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot of hard labor, yes, especially feeding,
Yes.
which may be the hardest part. So the way I kind of work it, when I put the food down, the chickens are still locked in their pens. So you don't have chickens tripping you, because you could die there. If a chicken trips you the wrong way, you'll be a goner. So, and then once all the food is out for the whole flock, I'll automatically start opening the doors, and they just come out on their own.
So how big of a piece of property are we talking about?
We're on 5 acres.
Okay, yeah. Because for the average person like myself, who's actually thought about having a backyard chicken, you actually need a decent amount of space.
You do.
Yeah, and the coop needs to be relatively large.
Relatively large.
Yeah.
They're not going to hang out in the coop all day. They will come out. They will come out to forage and eat and hang out, sunbathe, dust bathe.
How do you protect that many chickens?
So at the moment, we have some wires running from our coops to our fencing, and we have some balloons hanging off of them. And that's to deter any hawks or eagles.
Yeah.
The moving balloons simulate crows, so they don't get along. So we're just trying to keep them away from them as much as possible. And then when we let them free forage, we stay outside with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And have you seen any predators come onto your property while they're out there free foraging?
It's when you're inside the house and you think everything is okay, and
Yeah.
you see these big wings above your house, then you got to run out.
So it started out with your 4 chickens, you got a few eggs, and then you're like, there's something we could do with this.
I waited a whole year to get into the farmer's market.
Okay.
So I always had eggs, and I had a tremendous amount of eggs just sitting in the refrigerator, and I could never give eggs away to everybody. And then
You had more eggs than you knew what to do with.
Yeah.
So which farmer's market did you start out at?
So I started at Winter Gardens Farmers
Okay.
Market with the pharmacy, which is my vendor.
And so for people who aren't familiar with the pharmacy, tell us about that. They've actually been on Florida Foodie before.
So the pharmacy, they're vendors for local farmers like myself, vegetables, beef, or anything you think of that's grown locally here in Florida, the pharmacy could probably get it for
It's
you.
FARMACY.
Correct.
Yes. And when you first popped up at the Winter Garden Farmers Market, what was that like?
I love when I used to go in the mornings and stock up the refrigerators. The people would just grab the eggs and say, "Oh, we love your eggs. My kids love your eggs. Like they love the colors." So that meant like the world to me because they got them eating eggs again just because of the color of the eggs.
So many people worldwide have had sticker shock lately over the price of eggs.
Yes.
Specifically because of the avian flu we hear, which has decimated some chicken populations and caused the price of eggs to go up. Has that had any effect on you or your business?
No, I haven't changed my prices since I started. I didn't get into selling eggs to make a huge profit. I knew a profit could be done, I could make a profit off of it, but I still wanted to be a feasible price for anybody.
Yeah.
My dream was to have a food truck and go around to underprivileged neighborhoods and sell eggs there. Maybe I'll get there one day, but right now we're a bit everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's a demand.
There is a huge demand
Yes.
for these types of eggs specifically. So explain exactly what is the avian flu and how you have been able to avoid.
So the reason
that.
we've been able to avoid it, my farm is totally private. I don't allow any outside visitors. I don't allow any picking up at the farm. Boots are cleaned. You just have to keep everything pristine, clean. I can't go with my sneakers I have now and walk around in the coop because you don't want to take those germs.
I was reading an article as a result of the avian flu and the prices going sky high. Many people are now buying more boutique eggs because the prices are more similar now between, you no longer can get a dozen eggs for 99 cents anymore.
Correct.
So, yeah. How much do you sell your eggs for?
So the price at the farmer's market, they go around $6.50 a dozen. When I do private deliveries, depending on the location, just because of delivery, they go from $6 to $7.
Okay. And how many dozens of eggs are you producing and selling on a weekly basis?
So last week we sold 99 dozens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you would be doing something like that?
No, But now I just want
Yeah.
to do more and more and more.
Still ahead on Florida Foodie, Orlando's chicken lady Mussette Gonzalez moves into the restaurant scene, her plans for the future, and where you can find her Michelin star eggs. Welcome back to Florida Foodie. She started with 4 chickens and is now selling eggs all over Central Florida. Our chat with Orlando's chicken lady Mussette Gonzalez continues right now. What the chickens eat
Correct.
has a huge impact.
Yes, it does.
Were you surprised by that? When I first had kind of a backyard chicken egg versus one that I got at a supermarket,
You can tell the difference.
night and day.
Yeah.
Even when you crack it open, it looks totally different.
And probably the shell is probably a bit harder than a regular store chicken.
These shells are harder. The other interesting thing, some people say, oh, those chickens are sitting out on the table. They better be put in the refrigerator.
No, we're the only country that does that.
So tell us about that.
So at Le Coop, we do not wash our eggs. So they're kept with its natural bloom on, which is a protectant that the chicken seals the porous shell with. So there's no reason to refrigerate them. They could stay outside for 3 weeks, and your eggs will be perfectly fine. It's better to have a room temperature egg than a refrigerated egg anyway. I think so.
What are your plans for the future? You mentioned possibly getting a truck.
Yeah. So right now we have 2 restaurants on our waiting list. So we're just waiting to. I think I might go more restaurant based.
Okay. That would be a huge, certainly like a breakfast spot.
Yes.
I can't imagine how many dozens of eggs they go through in a day.
I've had inquiries from a breakfast spot that I would love to be in. I'll keep their name private for right now. But they need a lot of eggs. I would need a lot more chickens to fulfill that. But I'm willing to do it.
And it's so amazing because you're doing this with your mom.
Yes. This is 24/7. I've been doing it for a year, 24/7 now.
What were you doing prior to this?
I was actually a medical office manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how has that transition been for you, going from that?
It's great. It's so quiet.
And does your mom live on the farm with you?
My mom does live on the farm. She's there 24 hours.
She's no longer working for the Department of Corrections.
No, she's retired. I believe it's 8 years now herself.
Okay. How many different varieties of chickens do you have?
I should have 9 different varieties of chickens.
And how many are there? Do you know?
I'm going to say 500 plus.
Oh my gosh. So when you expand to fulfill all of these restaurant needs, are you going to stick with what you have, or do you think you'd branch out?
So I think I would go one kind of breed for a restaurant because the size will stay consistent.
Right.
So these are a little bit different size. They're not graded, meaning large, extra large jumbos, but you'll get a little bit of everything. The way it works is I'm not trying to sell in a store or to that nature. So they're pasture raised eggs. I'm not trying to be this big conglomerate poultry egg producer.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay very minimal.
Yeah. So you brought a variety of things. What's the difference between these and those?
Okay, so these are our regular chicken eggs. These are actually duck eggs.
Oh, wow. You also have ducks.
We do. We have around 20 ducks on the farm right now.
Now, what is the difference between these and these besides where they came from?
Okay, so the duck egg is much richer and fattier. It does contain a bit of alkaline in the egg itself, which it's not with the chicken. So that's the main difference. And plus, that came from a duck, and these came from chickens.
Okay. And then what do we have going on over here?
We have our newest, which would be quail eggs.
Ooh, they're so cute.
Yes.
Little baby eggs. Yes. Those are beautiful. What do you do with a quail egg?
So the quail egg, you pickle it. You could make an omelet. You'll need to use all 15 for an omelet, but it would be the best omelet if you had.
Really?
Quail eggs are very delicious.
And describe, if you can, the difference in taste between a regular chicken egg and a quail
I think a quail egg is much creamier.
Oh, wow.
If that makes any
Yeah.
sense. Then
Yeah.
they eat a higher protein level than a chicken. A chicken could eat from a 16 to 21% protein, and a quail eats up to 30% protein.
Okay.
So
And what do these retail for?
the quail eggs are a bit more expensive because they do get all organic food. So they go for like $9 for the 15 count. And then for the duck eggs, I sell only half a dozen just because no one ever uses a full dozen of duck eggs.
Yeah.
And that's usually $7. And these are very seasonal. So once they've gone through their laying season, they'll take a huge break.
So they don't lay an egg a day like a chicken does.
Well, not all chickens lay egg a day either.
How often do they lay?
So, like Easter eggers will lay 260 eggs per year.
Okay.
A leghorn, which is the white egg, almost 310. And then you'll have different variations of that.
What about a brown egg?
A brown egg, only 280.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a reason? So that must be, I mean, because you see a lot of white eggs in the store. So I'm
Right.
assuming it's because those chickens produce more eggs.
They do produce
Yeah.
great. They're a great layer.
Now, do you have to keep your quails separated from your ducks, separated from your chickens?
So the quails do need to be separated because they don't free range. If you would open the quail pen, they will be gone.
They'll just fly away.
Yeah, that's it. They're scatterbrains. They get scared really quickly, and we've had it happen twice. We opened the door and she just flew out, and we couldn't catch her.
It's like a helium balloon. It almost like
and gone. But the ducks and the chickens do cohabitate actually together.
Okay.
Yes.
They don't fight or anything.
They
like
do.
that?
There'll
Okay.
be a little bit of pushing here,
Territorial,
or
yeah.
here and there, but they cohabitate well. I actually have my oldest duck. Excuse me. She is a great mama. So we give her like any kind of babies. She'll know like to let them under her wing, and
That is sweet.
yeah. So
Do you breed any of the birds?
not yet.
Okay.
That will be coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're growing.
Just to grow in house more than to sell outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you buy that many chickens?
So I usually buy my chickens from Myers Hatchery. So they come, I believe, from Wisconsin. So they'll come.
Okay.
They come shipped in the mail.
And I imagine you have a pretty big online social media presence.
I do
Yeah.
on Instagram. I'm trying to grow my TikTok right now, but that's a whole nother.
That's a full-time job in and of
is.
itself.
It is. I've been cheating.
So where can people find you online, and how can they order some of these eggs, and how can they get them?
Okay, so you could find us on Instagram under Le Coop. Also, TikTok is Le Coop. And then farmers markets, it's Saturday, every Saturday at the Winter Gardens Farmers Market, the Packing District Farmers Market. And if you're eating out, Kappa Steakhouse at the Four Seasons, they have an egg dish. So Seki uses our eggs, and one of a cottage baker, Nomad Bakehouse, uses our eggs at the moment. And Red Light, a beer. They pickle the quail eggs and chicken eggs.
How cool is that?
Yeah, so you could taste them without buying them, kind of.
And do you otherwise ship them if people wanted them sent to them, or no?
No, there would be no.
Or deliver? Where do you deliver?
I deliver kind of everywhere. So
Okay.
I do usually my downtown deliveries on Wednesdays and Fridays, and then anybody local I could do.
And you actually do the delivery yourself?
It's all me. Yeah.
And your mom?
And my mom doesn't deliver.
How do you have time to do all this?
I mean, there's 24 hours in a day. Just
When you don't sleep much. Have you named them all?
in the beginning, I did. I will say they all had like queen, empress, very regal names. And now they're ladies, mama, kamanena, or, something sweet. They have nicknames, but the roosters have their names. And then you have certain hens that stand out.
Yeah.
that they'll have a name.
Yeah, and they all have their own little personality.
All of them do. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, these are so beautiful. I know that when people see these, they just want to immediately try them. So it's so fun. Yes, thank you.
Thank you again.
And thank you for watching Florida Foodie. You can catch us Wednesdays on News 6 at 5:30 or watch anytime on News 6 Plus.